I would like to introduce Mr. Sani Pasiona, also joining us from the Philippines, but in a very different capacity. Sani is an agriculture writer, researcher, and multimedia strategist. He is currently the Senior Communications Associate at the Southeast Asian Regional Center for Graduate Study and Research in Agriculture, or CIRCA. He works on partnerships, linkages, and communications with various stakeholders in Southeast Asian agriculture and rural development. He also manages the banner youth initiative of CIRCA called Young Forces for Agricultural Innovation, or hashtag Y4Agri, and leads the CIRCA Youth Ambassadors Program, SIAP, as a pioneering initiative for mainstreaming youth empowerment and participation in center-wide and the external affairs of CIRCA. His work in the food and agricultural sector involves research and projects on youth engagement, knowledge management, and ICTs in agricultural extension. In 2016, he was recognized as Agricultural Journalist of the Year by the BINHI Awards of the Philippine Agricultural Journalists. Sani has a decade-long experience in the youth and community development advocacy as lead and multimedia consultant of development projects for children and youth in urban and rural communities. He is a graduate of BS Development Communication and a candidate for the Masters in Development Management and Governance program at the University of Philippines, Los Baños. On that note, Sani, take it away.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad to see a lot of young people in this room. Let me share my screen. All right, can everybody see it? All right, so thank you, Kota, and thank you, IO Japan, for inviting CIRCA to present our youth initiative. So as with the previous speakers, I'm glad to have seen a lot of really good initiatives that we can adopt in our respective countries. In our case, I want to talk about youth actions for food security amidst and post-pandemic. So we are within the context of the pandemic. So before that, allow me to introduce to you CIRCA. So it's quite long. We have a regional scope, but we are based in the Philippines. We are an organization established under the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization. And we are the Center of Excellence in Agriculture and Rural Development in Southeast Asia. So I present to you a lot of us young CIRCANs. These are the men and women of CIRCA, both the young ones and the ones young. And this is the theme of our strategic plan, which is accelerating transformation through agriculture innovation. So we call it the ATTAIN. So all of our initiatives are related to this umbrella theme. So we envision to be the leading enabler and champion of excellence in ARD in Southeast Asia, and our main stakeholders, target stakeholders, are uplifting the lives of our agricultural families. So as an organization, we have our priority areas. There are a lot of priority areas you can see here related to agriculture and rural development, specifically food and nutrition security, but I would like to focus my presentation on gender and youth engagement in ARD. These are just some of the initiatives that we do. So as an organization, we work with governments, we work with civil society organizations, we try to influence policy making and programming. There are a lot of initiatives related to this, but allow me to focus your attention to our youth program, which is the Young Forces for Agricultural Innovation. And this has been launched last year as our banner initiative. We are guided by the principle of by the youth, for the youth, and with the one's youth. So we envision and empowered leaders, young leaders in agriculture and rural development through this program. So what are some of our initiatives? So as CIRCA being an enabler, we facilitate the discussions. So we conducted a virtual youth camp. So a youth camp, since we can't do it because of the pandemic, so we tried to conduct this virtually. So who loves here camping? Anybody here who loves camping? Raise your hand. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of young people really excited to go out and enjoy some time with your friends. But for this one, we tried to conduct that setup in a very engaging format. So we invited 21 young leaders and advocates of agri-food system from the Philippines. We had them dress like in a camp and then talk about their challenges and solutions in the agri-food system. So with that enabling environment to talk about their solutions and challenges, these are some of the highlights of the discussions. And uh, let me mention that some of these challenges included like mobility restrictions, because as mentioned by the previous speaker, there has been some concerns about logistics and transportation. And then there's also our farmers, the aging farmers, they are less receptive to modern technologies. But some of our young leaders in the Philippines, they were able to innovate and make use of online platforms for training and marketing of their harvest and even the nation drives. And moving forward, their recommendation is to improve access to financing, training, and mentorship opportunities. And some of our government institutions are already underway in terms of providing these opportunities. And finally, I think this is very important, especially for young people like us, advocacy and communication campaigns, if we are to help address issues confronting the agri-food sector. Okay. So another one is we have the co-video contest. Our theme is youth and locally grown food. We did this last year. And for this contest, we only asked our entrants to how and why are the youth growing their food at home, in school, or in the community amidst the pandemic. And we've received over 70 entries. And very interestingly, we have received entries in the format of a vlog or a short documentary or films. And the average age of our entrants are 20 years old, and most of their entries aim to inform, inspire, and entertain. So these are some of the reasons why they grow food amidst a pandemic. So primarily, of course, to address the basic food needs of their family and community because of the pandemic. A lot of people have been in lockdown. And of course, to augment their livelihood, especially for those who lost their jobs. So I'm pretty sure we all know somebody who lost their job because of the pandemic, and agriculture has been their go-to employment for this one. And they also grow food because they wanted to stay productive amidst of the online classes, and they wanted to manage stress and anxiety, and they wanted to go back to farming as their passion. And for many of you, I think the previous speaker also is part of an advocacy. So it was an opportunity for them to further to grow their organization or grow their advocacy. How they grow their food, it's mostly about home gardening and community gardens, either front yard, backyard, or any available land. And then they also integrated crops, livestock, and poultry. Some of them integrated hydroponics, container gardening, and some of them, interestingly, also inculcated cultural and religious beliefs in their practices. So based on these entries, the videos that we have seen from the entries of the co-video contest, we have noted the personal benefits. So again, one is to be because they wanted to relieve from stress and anxiety. They wanted to provide a healthy hobby. And locally growing food means guaranteed safe and healthy food. And at some point, it also strengthened family relationships because since a lot of us have been put into lockdown, so we were left with at home with our family. So a lot of people have been practicing family farming. In terms of the community, the benefits that we've seen based on these entries, it enabled a food secure neighborhood, it enhanced camaraderie, and it was also an opportunity to enhance appreciation of agriculture. So again, the main why for growing their food is linked to meeting their physiological needs. So having enough, safe, and healthy food that is locally produced. How they grow food, most likely most dominantly is about home gardening, and we've also seen some modern ways such as hydroponics and integrated farming systems. And this is also a very important one, especially for many of us who are part of youth organizations. Because of the pandemic, we were able to make use of our social capital to establish vegetable gardens, which benefits community members. The pandemic also was an opportunity to raise awareness and cultivate appreciation of basic farming practices. And again, as I've mentioned, it has become a family practice. And then youth mobilization, which is a very key. So organizations like IO, because of the pandemic, we tend to conduct all these virtual activities. And for youth organizations on the ground, they were able to make use of the pandemic of strict quarantines or lockdowns to help ensure food security at the local level. And just that was last year, and just this year we've also launched eco video contest, and the theme for this year is youth in sustainable food consumption and waste management. So last year we conducted it because of local food production on the production side, but for this year we wanted to see video entries that are more on sustainable food consumption and waste management. And so far, the deadline is already over, and we are in the process of evaluating the entries. But I'd like to share with you just one entry, just to share with you the nature of the videos that we've received from all the contestants. Please do let me know if you can hear it.
Sonny, it doesn't sound like we can hear your sound at the moment.
Let me try that again. How about that?
Hadir, Pak.
Airin, nah itu di mana, Airin?
Di ladang, Pak.
In this pandemic time, lack of signal is the biggest problem we face during online learning. That's why we are accommodated to live at school. By implementing strict health protocols, we have some activities programmed by school, and one of them is managing urban gardening at school.
Hi, we are here at School Garden, cultivating, processing, and also distributing food.
We are all involved in the activity. Of course, we also reap our effort from the garden, because wise men say you reap what you sow. Together, we are all waiting and enjoying the harvesting time.
Mari kita coba ya. Rasanya sangat manis.
The waste from the food we consume are then processed into liquid fertilizer, ecoenzymes, and compost.
First, we need to prepare the seeding media.
We mix husk, cow dung, and compost from the food waste we consume. When the seeding media is ready, we go to the next step, which is seeding. Here is the example of seeding, chili seeding. The 1 week progress after the seeding. As you can see, 2 small leaves start growing. After 3 weeks, it's getting taller and bigger. And here is the process of preparing the planting media, polybags. The polybags then water with the liquid fertilizer from the catfish pond. We also use ecoenzymes to water our plants. Cutting is also needed as carrying process. The harvesting time is the most waited moment for us. These communities then distribute not only to people outside SIKK, but also the culinary department of SIKK. We make sure that anytime they need fresh vegetables and fruits, it's always available at our urban gardening.
So, through urban gardening model at school, we youth can take action regarding sustainable food consumption and food waste management. Managing your waste, managing your life.
All right, so that was an entry from Sabah, Malaysia. And as you have seen there, it's one example of having this circular economy. So addressing food waste and also addressing food security. So going back to my presentation, I want to leave this word, sarap. In the Philippines, it means yummy or delicious. So some pointers on how can youth contribute to food sustainability. Start at home and in your community, and we've seen people growing and cooking their own food, advocating for sustainable and responsible food production, consumption, and disposal. And R stands for rethink your food choices and how you consume food. A for allowing yourself to learn healthier diets and eating habits. It's a journey, so we can't force ourselves to automatically learn healthier habits. And finally, pay for locally sourced food. So be it paying or buying local food from your neighbors or for your communities, as we have seen all of this from all our youth initiatives at CIRCA. So if you want to know more about our organization, I invite you to please like our Facebook page. We have upcoming activities there as well. Then we have for the audience from the Philippines, we have an upcoming National Youth Festival. It's also about food in celebration of the World Food Day. And for publications, if you are a student who would want to have a research on agriculture or food, please visit our website for all these publications. And if you are planning to enroll for a master's degree, if you're looking for any scholarships, you may also go directly to these scholarship opportunities posted on our website. So that's it from me. So thank you. And I wish everyone please have a youthful day and have a youthful weekend.